Okay, good morning and welcome to Just Daf It as part of the greater Yeshiva YouTube. Today we're doing the Nedarim Daf Pehe number 85. Great share for you today. Talk about something called Tuvas Hana, the rights that Israel has to give his Trumas and Maestros to the Kohen and Levi of his choice. Is it worth money? How much money is it worth? Can you charge for it? We'll talk about these things in the regular share and elaborate more. And Ian with Ben Sion, they have been an Ian share. One of a kind. After, and a separate share after this. Let's start from the bottom of Pei Dalam and Bay's, the two dots, about 8 lines from the bottom. Kohanim Levim Nen Liyitlu. The Mishnah, the previous Mishnah said 2 lines at the end of the Mishnah. If a person says they're not going to get benefit from me, Kohanim and Levim, all Kohanim and Levim, they're not going to get any benefits, and they're not going to get Trumas and Maestros. So they could take Bal Karcho because you can't. The money Trumas and Maestros belong to the Shevet HaKohen and Shevet HaLevi. You can't completely obstruct them from getting their Trumas and Maestros. So therefore, they can take on their own accord. And the next line of the Mishnah says that if you say, a family of Kohanim or a family of Levim, so that family can't take, but another family could take. So the Gemara notes a contradiction between these two rulings. Alma, for the first teaching, Tuvas and Ayin Mama, right? The fact that I have the right to choose, right? It's my grain. I grew the grain. I have the right to choose which Kohen and Levi I give it to. So it's worth money, right? Tuvas Hana basically is the benefit I get from giving it to a Kohen. Now, I don't think you can charge money and, the highest bidder gets your Truma. I don't think you're allowed to do that. However, Tuvas Hana basically is he'll, I'll curry favor with a certain Kohen or Levi by giving him my Trumas and Maestros. We'll establish a relationship, quid pro quo. I give him my Trumas and Maestros. He does a favor for me. Is that considered monetary benefit? Be able to get a favor from somebody else, or is it considered not a monetary benefit in halacha? So Alma, from the first ruling, Tuas on Elam Mamon, right? It's not considered to be because they take Bal Korcha, right? They take Bal Korcha, so right when they take against your will, so again, presumably they're still currying favor with you're currying favor with them. So and they're gonna have to respond and give you something. So the fact they can take it, if it was considered two of us, and I was considered a monetary benefit, so then they couldn't take Bal Korcho because that would be a benefit, financial benefit, right? And Nedarim is a financial benefit, and they're not allowed to benefit from you. Anyway, say the end of the last ruling in the Mishnah. I specifically call out certain Kohanim and Levim, they can't get benefit from me. Other Kohanim could take. Avalahani low. But these Kohanim, they can't take. The ones that I asked her. Alma, Tuas and Alma, why can't those Kohanim take? Must be, right? The fact that I can give it to other people, right? Right? Those Kohanim that I asked her couldn't take because if they take, so therefore, um, you know, they would have to respond in kind, and do me a favor, right? So I'm currying favor with these Kohanim and Levim, so that's considered Mammon, right? And they can't do it. They can't take from that. So I'm a Roshaya. So these two statements in the Mishnah seem contradictory. I'm a Roshaya, look kasha. It's not a question. How Rabbi, how Rabbi Yosef Yehuda? Even though it's a little difficult, we're going to say one line in the Mishnah. The first line is one Tana. The second line is different Tana. The Tanya Machlok is like going to Tivlo Shal Chavero. Let's say you go, someone harvests his grain, but he hasn't yet separated Trumas and Maestro. So he steals the tevel of his friend, Achlo, and he ate it. Right? So when you steal something and you eat it, you have to pay him back. Mishalim lo dmei tivlo. How much do you have to pay him back? Right? Let's say the harvest was worth $1,000, right? Tuvos Hana, let's say, is worth $100, right? Decide which one to give it to. So you have to pay Dmei Tiflo, Divrei Rebbe. You have to pay him $1,100. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, Reino Mashalim Dmei Chul and Jabo. You only have to pay $1,000. We don't count the Tuvos Hana. My love, what's the machlokes between Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef Yehuda? The Gemara thinks at this point, pay him an olive on the top. The Rebbe Savar Tuvos Hana Mamon. Rebbe holds Tuvos Hana, right? The fact that I could use giving Trumas and Maestros to a certain Kohen and Levi to curry favor with them. right? That's considered a monetary benefit, and therefore, when someone steals it from me, he's stealing that monetary benefit. It's worth money. It's worth $100. We can't calculate that as money. It's not, even though you could use it to curry favor with somebody, but it's not considered worth $100. Whereas says, "Lo, the chulei alma tuasana ain't a mama." Everyone agrees. This is how we pass. And tuasana is not considered money because you can't charge for it. Just right, quid pro quo doesn't mean the person has to do a favor for me. I do a favor for him. He's usually the way it works is I do a favor for you, you do a favor for me. He doesn't have to, so therefore it's not mama. You can't charge, right? A kohen, I'm giving the highest bidder, right? You can't do that, right? You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to make it into a mecher, into a sale, the highest bidder, an auction over my shoulders and maestros. Elahacha, what are the machlokas between Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef Yehuda? Matana shalom kumiflagi. We're talking about machlokas between Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. We're talking about where matano shalom, right? Presents, trumas and ma'asos, which weren't taken off, are they like already taken off? The machlokas in various places in the Gemara. Matano shalom kahormu dami or lo kahormu dami? Did we assume they already taken off or not? Trumas and ma'asos and tevel were not yet taken off. So according to one opinion, right, they were taken off already. Right, according to Rebbe, right, matano shalom, right, is shalok kahormu dami. They weren't taken off yet, so therefore you have to pay him for the entire, including the tuba sana. And according to, if they pay the entire value of the grain, right? According to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, matana shalahormu is lav kahormu dam. According to Rebbe, matana shalahormu is lav kahormu dam. Right? We don't look at the trumas and ma'asos taken off, right? And according to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, it was likely they were taken off already. Therefore, the trumas and ma'asos are by themselves, right? Who was telling you can't charge for, right? According to Rebbe, he also matana shalahormu lav kahormu dam, and they weren't taken off yet. So therefore, it's not even talking about, right? Tumas not only is a discussion once, right? You took off trumas and ma'asos, and now you have to decide to give it to a kohen or a levi. But if matana shalahormu was lav kahormu dam, and they weren't taken off yet, so then you don't even discuss. It's not a discussion whether Tuos hana, because right, we're not even talking about trumas and ma'asos yet. We're talking about a pile of grain. So I have to pay him the entire value of the grain, not just the value of the trumas and ma'asos. So Rabbi Yosef Yehuda says that we look at it like it's taken off. So the Gemara questions: if you'll say that tuos hana is not worth money, mali hormu, mali holo hormu. Even if according to a Rebbe, right, shalo hormu kamis, they're not taken off, right? Why is it worth any more? Right? It's worth, the only reason it's worth more if trumas and ma'asos are not taken off is because of tuos hana. Right, but tuas hana is not mammon, so it shouldn't make a difference. So you can't say that's the machlokas. Ella hainu time with the Rebbe. What's the reason of Rebbe? Rebbe says you have to pay tivlo, including the tuas hana. Kansur avan laganov keichidol liknov. They made a knas, a fine, even though really technically only the trumas and ma'asos. Tuas hana is not mammon, right? And you only have to pay him back the value of the trumas and ma'asos, not the value of tuas hana. But they made a knas to charge him for the tuas hana, in order that Ganav shouldn't steal. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Savar Kanzur Aban LaBalabayis. He said they didn't apply that knas because whose fault is it? The Balabayis Geikil Elishay Tivle. They wanted him, the Balabayis, when he harvests his grain, he should take out Shuras Maisos right away to keep it around so that the Ganav should take it, to be able to take it. So that's a problem for him. So therefore they didn't apply the knas to the Ganav. They find the Balabayis, and therefore he doesn't have to pay for the entire value of the crop. Rav Amar. So, anyways, that's the machlokas. The machlokas in Rebbe and Rabbi Yehuda is whether a knas. They apply the knas on a knas. Tuas hana is not mumma. So we're still left with two statements in the Mishnah. How do you resolve two statements in the Mishnah? That wasn't, the Mishnah is not two statements. One is Rebbe, one is Rabbi Yehuda. How do you resolve the Mishnah? Rav Amar. So Rav gives the answer. Shani truma dahainu taima dihitlu al karcho. The reason if he asers all the kohanim or leviim from benefiting from his grain, mishum the truma lechazi al the kohanim. Truma is only fit for kohanim. It came on Ka'asi l'misra Yoshavi Afra Ba'alma. If I forbid all kohanim from getting benefit from my truma, so therefore I am relinquishing, right? I am relinquishing my rights to that trumas and maestros. I'm making it like dirt. Like in my eyes, it's dirt. I don't want any kohanim to get it. Who are the only people that can get trumos, right? Truma. Who's the only people? Only kohanim could benefit from truma. not Yisrael. And I'm saying all the Kohanim shouldn't get benefit. So in my eyes, right, this grain, right, at least the part that's going to be Truma, is meaningless in my eyes. It's like Hefker almost. It's like Hefker. And therefore, when the Kohanim take it, even though we said before, Tuasana is not Mammon, it's not worth money over here, but it's not worth anything now because it's like Hefker. It's like Hefker. And therefore, since it's like Hefker, so when the Kohanim take it, they certainly don't owe me any favors, right? Because I asked for all the Kohanim. I don't intend any Kohanim to get it. But again, your neder doesn't take effect. The reason I'm allowed to take it is your neder doesn't take effect because you can't answer, right? You can't answer something that you're Meshubah to do. You have to give it to the Kohanim. If I ask her certain Kohanim, I give it to other Kohanim. But if I ask her all the Kohanim, so then my neder doesn't take effect. And because I try to ask her to all the Kohanim, therefore I made it Hefker. When the Kohanim take it, there's definitely no appreciation that he gets from me. And therefore, since there's no appreciation that he gets from me, so therefore he's not going to do a favor for me, so therefore he could take it without a problem. Stay tuned, we'll talk about Imad Ben Sion to work this out exactly, because the Gemara seems to assume Tuasana is not Mammon. It's not Mammon, right? So it's not a monetary benefit. So is this, right? The Gemara could have said Tuasana in a Mammon. Why does it have to say because he asked for all the Kohanim, right? We'll try to explain that. The difference, Tuasana in a Mammon, and it's even worth less when it's Hefker. What's the difference between Tuasana in a Mammon and Hefker in terms of Nedarim? We'll talk about that in Imad Ben Sion. Which says, Konam Sheni Osa Al Pi Abba. She says a neder, the wife says a neder, I'm not going to make food for my father, Al Pi Avicha, or for your father, my husband's father, Al Pi Achi, I'm not going to make food for my brother, Al Pi Achicha, not for my brother-in-law, for your brother. Eil Yachal Hafer. The husband has no ability to be made for the neder, because again, he can only make for things beino lebeina, things directly affecting their relationship, or ina nefesh. This is neither one. Sheni also al picha. If she says, "I'm not going to cook for you," eno tzarach lahafer. It doesn't have to be made for, because she's meshubad. Her ma'isi adayim. She's a meshubad to work for him, right? Have a little job for him, and also to feed him, right? He provides the grain, and she has to cook it into food. So she has no koach to take a neder to ask for something she's obligated to, she's meshubah to do. She's monetarily obligated to do it. He says, therefore, the neder doesn't take effect. Rabbi Kiva Omer Yafer. He says she should still be made for the neder. Shema Tadlo Yosef Na'Ra'Illah, because she only has to make a certain amount for him, right? The Gemara in Ksuvo says, the Mishnah in Ksuvo says, right, depends whether she lives in the Galil or she lives in Yehuda. She only has to do a certain amount of semer. She only has to make a certain amount of sewing for him in different places. Or if she's cooking food for him, she doesn't have to make dessert. Dessert is not part of the meal. Rabbi Yochanan says a different reason he should be made for the neder. Because if he is Megarisher, right now the neder doesn't take effect. But once it's Megarisher, so therefore she's not obligated to cook for him anymore. And then the neder will take effect, and therefore it'll be forbidden for him to go ahead and remarry her. So therefore, he should be made for the neder now, so she should take effect once she's Megarisher. So the Gemara says, Amar Shmuel Lacha Yochanan Menuri. It makes sense to be made for the neder now because it'll take effect after the gerushin. A person could be makdish, could make something hektish, or make a neder, which is making a status, even though it's not in the world right now, right? The neder is going to take effect not now, but only after the gerushin. Raminu, does Shmuel really hold this? This is a Mishnah Maseches Ksuvos. He's makdish. A husband is makdish. He makes hektish, right? What his wife cooks for him, or what his wife, the earnings that she earns in her job, or the wool that she weaves for him. Areza osa v'ocheles v'amosar, right? So he can't do that, right? He's meshubad, right? She makes v'ocheles. She can continue making food and eat, right? He can't be makdish it, right? So the Gemara says in Ksulos, we're talking about where he's not feeding her. If he's feeding her, so he has rights in the Ma'aseh Yadayim to be makdish it. It's talking about a case where he's not feeding her, so therefore he has no right. The Ma'aseh Yadayim belong to her, so therefore she can cook and eat her food. Mosar, however, if she makes extra food, right? Meir Omer hektish. Yochanan says it is hektish. Yochanan says Omer chulin. He says it's not hektish, extra. Amar Shmuel says, Yochanan Sandler, that even the extra is not hektish alma. According to Shmuel, ain't a makdish davar shelo ba'al olam. He can't be makdish davar shelo ba'al olam, right? He's doing makdish before she cooks, and then when she cooks, it's going to take effect, right? So he says, even for the Mosar, not only what she cooked, even the extra doesn't take effect, right? So you see, a person's not makdish davar shelo ba'al olam. Maybe all when he was saying in our Mishnah, he was just talking about the hadafa, right? He didn't agree with him that it takes effect after the gerushin. He was talking about that we don't have to worry about the hadafa, which is basically what the Tanakama said, right? We don't have to worry about the hadafa. Lema halacha about hadafa. He should have said there's a different way of phrasing, and he should have said the halacha that we don't have to worry about the hadafa. The gerushin we have to worry, right? He doesn't agree with Rabbi Chaniyori about the gerushin, and he also doesn't agree with, and he was saying that we don't have to worry about the hadafa either. Inam, Tanakama, or a different way of saying it, you should have said like the Tanakama. He says it doesn't take effect not after the gerushin, not on the hadafa. Inam, halacha Rabbi Akiva, or he should have said the halacha is like Rabbi Akiva, right? Not in the halacha like Rabbi Akiva, in the Mosar, because he doesn't agree with the Mosar Rabbi Akiva. Halacha is like Rabbi Akiva in terms of when he's arguing, or he's arguing on Yochanan Nuri, right? You don't have to worry about the gerushin after the gerushin. So the fact he doesn't say it like that shows us he doesn't say it like that. Amar Rav Yosef Shiny Konamos. The reason it works after the gerushin, he holds it, or Yochanan Nuri, right? Nedarim is different, right? The Mishnah in Maseches Ksuvos was talking about hektish. Hektish is not exactly the same as Nedarim. Shiny Konamos. Nedarim are different. Whole of Adam Oser Peros Chavero Olav. Right? A person, I can take a neder. The peros that belong to my friend Reuven, I'm not going to eat. Right? Shari Adam Oser Peros Chavero, because just like I can ask my fruits on somebody else, so therefore I can ask someone else's fruits on mine, on me. So therefore I can also sorry, I skipped a line. So the person can ask his friend's fruits upon him. He can also ask something which is not coming in the world yet, meaning after the gerushin. I'm like Abaye. Abaye says back. He can ask someone else's fruits upon himself. I can ask my fruits on someone else. Right, that's two things. To ask for something not in the world on someone else. I can't say, Reuven's fruits are usher to him, right? That's two steps, right? It's not in my rishus, right? They're in Reuven's rishus, in his possession. And I'm answering them on him. I'm making the neder on him. That's a two-step process. Here also, I can't do davar shelo ba'al olam. It's not in the world, right? Al chavero, right? Even though it belonged to me technically, but I can't. It's not in the world, so I can't ask. It's not my rishus. I can't answer on somebody else. So the Gemara is going to have to give a new answer, and that starts with the word Ella. But because it's a long discussion, I'm going to stop over here. That's the end of today's daf. Stay tuned for Ian and Ben Sion, where we talk about the concept of Tuvas Hana. Is it considered mama or is it not considered mama? The Gemara seems to have assumed the halacha. There's an aleph over here in Peyam, an aleph, ain't a mama. Tuvas Hana is not considered mama. What exactly does Tuvas Hana mama or ain't a mama really mean? Right? You can't take money for it. What does it really mean? And what is the maskana of the Gemara, where the Gemara seems to say something even worse, something worse? Tuvas Hana ain't a mama is worse than ain't a mama, where it's like Afra Ba'alma. What exactly does the Gemara mean? What's the difference between Tuvas Hana ain't a mama and Afra Ba'alma? Stay tuned. Ian Ben Sion coming up next.